Hey guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to the Dyslexic Reader. I'm checking in and doing the challenge on Booktubeathon day 5. Before I do the challenge, which is the first challenge I'm actually doing this year because it's the first one, the sun's going in and out like mad, that I want to do. The first couple of challenges this week haven't really appealed to me and I didn't want to do them. So today appeals to me, however, actually being a teacher. But first, a quick check-in. I have finished 5 out of my 7 books, and I am halfway through the other 2, about halfway out. So I'm well on track to getting my 7 books completed. I had more free time at the start of the week, so I got more done, and I'm not expecting to have as much free time at the end of the week. Therefore, that's why a book or so is about all that I could take on, but I definitely think I'm going to get my 7 done, which I'll be really happy with because it's my first time participating in Booktubeathon. And if you guys want me to do a video, I feel like I want to do a video when it's all over, maybe on my Booktubeathon experience and being the first major readathon that I've participated in myself and how I felt about it. I might do a video along those lines, so leave a comment below if you think that would be a good idea. But now for challenge day 5. It is if you were to teach or partake in a class on any subject that you want, what would you make the required reading list? So it's really just a list of a couple of books that you would suggest on a particular subject or genre. I have chosen the subject of children dealing with grief. As a teacher, I see this a lot in the classroom. I see how it affects children. It is such a profound and lasting effect that it can have. And there's not really a lot of resources out there. I'm not sure if I would take this class with children. That was sort of more of like a counselling class with children who are bereaved, or giving it to carers or parents or teachers of bereaved children. But I think it's going to be something along those lines. It's all the books I've picked are children's literature, so it could work other ways, and it's all children's literature that sort of deals with grief, I think, in a really healthy, natural, normal way. The first book that I want to talk about is on my Booktubeathon TBR. I'm about halfway through this. As you can see, this is one of the ones I have remaining. One of the books on your list for the challenge has to be on your TBR. This is Bigfoot, Tobin and Me by Melissa Savage. It's also known as Lemons in the US. It's our main character, Lemonade. Her mother dies. Sorry about throwing my throat. And she is sent to live with her grandfather, and she meets this boy called Tobin, and they go looking for Bigfoot. But how the grief is dealt in this is really beautiful. It's compared to a volcano, and she talks about it inside her stomach, a volcano, and sometimes it gets so hot it's hard to breathe, and somehow for no reason, or sometimes for a reason, somebody mentioning a certain thing, it brings up the lava, and she can't help it, like it's just flowing. And she talks about the damage that her lava can do because she's obviously in a more snappy, I'm sorry about the lighting, the sun's going in and out behind clouds like mad here. She's in a more snappy, irritable mood, obviously because she's grieving with loss of a parent at such a young age. And I just really like how grief is talked about in this way, and that sort of volcano analogy. And I think it's something that children could definitely relate to. The second book I want to talk about I don't have with me. It's called Circus Miranda, and there's only 2 books on the list that I cried at while reading, and this is one of them. This book is maybe a little bit less to do with grief, but it is about a young boy caring for his granda who's slowly dying and trying to stop that process, trying to do something that will stop him from dying. And it's about coming to terms with people who are slowly dying, and also how we can't stop it and you can't do anything and it's not your fault. And then it's very little to do with the after process of the grieving. but it's more to do with that caring for someone who you know is very soon going to die, and coming to terms with that, which I thought was a nice spin on things and something a little bit different. The next one that I'm going to mention, I cried at as well. It was There May Be a Castle by Piers Torday. This is a book I've talked about a couple of times in this channel about a young boy who's in a car crash, and he goes searching help, but he's had some sort of brain injury, and while he's on his journey, his brain's taking him to seek help. Get out of this light. But in his mind, he's imagining that he's on a quest to find a castle, and his favourite toy is with him alive and things, but he's imagining this. And one of his sisters is in the car, and she's giving you you get chapters from her perspective, which is giving you real-time sort of events and how things are progressing. The weather's bad because it's Christmas Eve and he's out in the snow. And this is really beautifully done. I think it would be really good for children who are grieving a sibling or a friend or a peer, rather than like a parent or a grandparent. And again, I think the way that it's talked about at the end of this is really beautiful, and the way that you never forget but you have to move on. And I think it's done in a really healthy way. And the next book is one of my favourite children's books of all time, Lympho by Lauren Oliver. Liesel's father has recently died, and the whole story is really her trying to get his ashes back to his favourite place to scatter them. And it's about her coming to terms with her loss and grieving, and her friend Poe and his little pet bundle, who are ghosts, and them helping her on this quest. This is an amazing book, regardless of the grieving elements. It's just an absolutely fantastic book. But it is, it's definitely one, it's more of a subtle message of how to deal with grief and how it can affect people. But it's definitely in there, and it's done in a really nice way. My last one, these aren't in any particular order of like ranking, but I think this is one of the better ones. It is The Little Prince by Anthony de Saint-Exupéry. There's no way in a million years that I would be able to say this name. It's a French book. This is obviously an English translation. It was translated by Irene Testot-Ferry. It's an unusual name. This is the Wordsworth classic. I'm sure everyone has known this story. There was an adaptation on Netflix, which was quite good, but I liked the book better. Even though this is a children's book and incredibly short, I would say that it would probably appeal more to adults. But that's just because they have perspective and understanding. But I think if you had a young child who had lost somebody very dear to them, they would get the message of this book. I think why it maybe wouldn't appeal to children in general is because they wouldn't understand the touchingness and the hardship of loss that goes through the book. I don't want to give it away. It's about a man who crashes his plane in a desert, and he finds this little prince who is from a different planet. And it's the story of how the little prince got the earth and why he's travelling about the place. It is incredibly beautiful and incredibly moving, but as I said, I think a child who had went through a loss and grieving would understand this more than the average child would. So that is my very unedited general sort of catch up with you guys. If you have any questions about any of those books, please send me either a message on Twitter or leave a comment down below. I would be happy to talk about it further with anyone who would like more resources if they know children who are going through a grieving process. That was quite of a down video, but I think these things are important to talk about, and I hope you're all enjoying Booktubeathon if you're participating. And there's no more for me to say.